Hey guys, it's Lemon02. We're doing a cube draft here, so this is a pretty interesting first pack. I can see a few directions in this. We could take the Overgrown Tomb or the Scrubland to stay as open as possible. I think Liliana, as far as the two Planeswalkers go, is the most powerful. However, this pack is deepest with red deck wins cards. I think Shrine of Burning Rage is a fairly irreplaceable card, and there's a decent chance that a card like Figure of Destiny or Eidolon of the Great Revel will come back around, and I think I'm going to try to do that. Not that I really want to play red deck wins, but I think I have the highest probability of getting good cards back out of this pack, because there's two that are available. So I'm going to pick up the Shrine here, and be happy with it. Alright, then there's this pack. Well, this pack does not have a red card available to us that we really want. Seething Song is not exactly what one wants to be doing in this deck. Mother of Runes is quite potent in the White Weenie list, and that deck is oftentimes open. There's also Wooded Foothills to fix. I think I'm going to take Mom, though, here, because the figure can come back, or the 3-drop in white can come back from the first pack. And there's Ravages. Ravages is like the top end that this deck wants. It's like exactly the card. Like, if you're going to first pick a white card to go into this archetype, I think Ravages or Armageddon tend to be it. Alright, this pack's a little bit light. We have Brimaz and Oblivion Ring. Brimaz has a higher chance of wheeling than Oblivion Ring, but I think because of what I'm in, I really do want this Brimaz here. And it's possible the Oblivion Ring can come around. Like, I think white and green tend to be the weakest colors in the cube, or the ones that are least drafted for whatever reason. I don't think white is truly terrible, but alright, so this pack's interesting. So I have Recruiter the Guard, which can find probably most things in my deck, with the exception of Brimaz, of course. And Umezawa's Jit. I think Umezawa's Jit has enough more upside than the Tutor that I'm going to take it. Alright, then the bread and butter of this deck is going to be its 1-drops that can lock up with things like Jit, and then, obviously be followed up 1-drop, 2-drop into end the game with Ravages. Sorcerer Spyglass is very powerful, but I don't think Soulfire Grandmaster is the kind of 2-drop you really want in this deck, but I'm going to take it because I really do need 2-drops. Sorcerer Spyglass is more of a sideboard card, and ideally we're not getting to a point in the game where they've already gotten out their Planeswalkers and or cards that have activated abilities like swords and stuff like that. Although it is kind of good, like if you can get someone to cast a sword, because a sword is technically a 5-drop. If you can get them to cast it off curve, like on turn 3 or 4, and not have the chance to lock it up, then they can just have a brick on the battlefield. Plus, I guess Sorcerer Spyglass can be played at 2, and you get to see their hand, so if they do have a sword of protection from essentially anything white, that could be good. Alright. Well, Baneslayer Angel I don't think is where this deck wants to be. Gideon Jura is a very powerful card. There's a Sulfuric Vortex. I think a Mirror Angel is what this deck wants to be doing. Now, we're going to want to back it up with some Anthem effects or something like that, because it's not exceedingly good. Alright, so the red deck wins deck is actually not open. Like, someone did take the red card, and we kind of picked up on that signal. The question becomes, do we want Silverblade Paladin more, or do we want Figure of Destiny? I think the answer is Figure of Destiny, because we really want these aggressive 1-drops to curve out into. Silverblade Paladin is an extremely good 3-drop, one of the top 3-drops, but the 1-drops are very crucial to making this deck function. If I recall correctly, the 2-drop slot tends to be a little bizarre in this cube right now, where you have to take some suboptimals like Soulfire Grandmaster, because there's just not a ton of really good ones. I really don't want to play a Mirror Angel. I'm going to leave her in for now, but she's not an optimal 4. Like, the optimal 4s are like Ravages, 4-mana Gideon, and 4-mana Elspeth are kind of the ones you want to have there to make this deck work the best. I don't think equipment's always the way to go. If I have to pick up a sword, I'll pick up a sword, but Jit is one of the few equipments that I'll take in this deck. I actually don't even like, personally, the Skull Clamp in this build. It gets a lot better with a Mirror Angel, but the problem I run into with the card is that it's kind of a tempo sink. Alright, yeah, I mean, this came back around, so this deck is open. I don't really want to start a Sphere of Heliod, but alright, this came back around. That's a sideboard card for this deck, though. I don't think it's, I guess it gets triggered by Ravage's Spear and Umezawa's Jit. I think the next pack is the one that had the Oblivion Ring. I would play Oblivion Ring before I'd play the Spear. It's really kind of an irrelevant pick here. I'll pick up the red card, I suppose. Alright, Recruiter came around. Recruiter's quite good. Alright, Moat. I never want to face that. I guess I pick up a Johnny. Maybe I splash for it. Smokestack's a sideboardable card. Especially in a deck like this where you're casting a bunch of permanents. Okay, well, the Benalish Marshal will come around. I'm going to pick up Council's Judgment. Ancestral Recall is obviously probably one of the best cards in the cube. Mana Drain, also very good. But we've kind of already committed ourselves at this point, and we're not going to try to jump into blue for, to be greedy. So go ahead and roast me for passing two of the better cards in the cube. Dak Vaden's also great. This pack's actually very strong. We're not taking a strong card, though. We're gonna take the card that goes best in the archetype that we know is open, because we're drafting by signals and we're trying to be disciplined here. Alright, History of Benalia. Well, History of Benalia is the card we're going to take. Balance is a strong card, but it does not really go in this list. Lingering Soul is also quite good, but it's a splash card. Sometimes you have to splash in this deck. I was going to say, the 3-drop slot will fill up generally faster than the 2 will. So you have to be on the lookout for that, because this deck is, it's almost better to take, like, when you get to a certain point, it's almost better to take 2 drops than it is, like, a good 3-drop. Like, a bad 2-drop is sometimes better than a good 3-drop. The thing we're looking for is removal. So we want removal. We did pass up on an O-ring to cement ourselves in the archetype. Alright, this pack. Well, we're going to hope the Parallax Wave wheels, which is a very good chance it does. I'm going to take the 1-drop here. Kind of a 1-drop. Stud of War is really more of like a 2-drop because he essentially has Echo too. To make him good, you need to basically spend your second turn making him a 3/3. You don't have to, but generally speaking, you will. So he kind of functions as a 2-drop in a way. But yeah, we're going to hope for some Leonin Relic Warder, Love, some Thalia. She'd be good. I believe there's a Precinct Captain in this cube as well. Alright, well this is an interesting pick because we have a Banishing Light, which is very strong, and then we have the 1/3. The 1/3 has a higher probability of wheeling. I'm going to take the good removal. Alright, Timely is not really what this deck wants to be doing. It could be how the packs are splitting. I do not think... I think the red deck is far more close to us than White Weenie is. I'm going to take the Mana Tithe. Timely will likely come back around, and I don't think it's the card we want for this deck. Alright, well Kithian is a great pickup. Very happy about that. A Braid also quite good for like the red aggressive deck. Although we know we passed up on what's that card called? The Confluence, the Fiery Confluence. That card is very strong. And like you see, like we said in the early part of this, like the 2-drop slot for White Weenie, like / Death and Taxes is just, it's weird in this cube. Like I feel like they probably undercut the amount of 2-drops. They should cut some of like the 5-drop Angels, the 5 and 4-drop Angels, and put more 2-drops in. If they wanted to make this deck better. Alright, Geddon or Mishra's a Factory or Gideon of the Trials. So the thing with this deck is I don't think you want more than one Geddon. I do really like Mishra's Factory, but I think it's a Gideon here over the Geddon. Something will wheel out of this pack. I mean, it won't be the Goblin Guide. Probably be like Mizium Mortars or Descender's Deliverance or Vraska's Contempt. I'm going to pick up the Gideon here. Gideon's quite strong. Alright, Declaration in Stone or Adanto Vanguard. So I have Council's Judgment and Banishing Light right now. I don't mind a Declaration in Stone, but I really need 2-drops. I'm at 9 creatures, so yeah, I'm going to pick up the Adanto Vanguard and have to be as happy as I can be about it. Alright, Benalish Marshal wheeled as expected. I'll pick up the Souls, I suppose. Parallax Wave's a good one. Fiend Hunter came around. So we have a bazillion 3-drops. This is Knight's a Vampire Soldier. Well, we're going to have to cut some of the 3s. The deck kind of looks like a pile right now. Alright, yeah, this came around. Kind of as to be expected. So, this guy's a soldier. This is a knight, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. This is a soldier. This is, what, a wizard or monk or something? Yeah. Mary is just an angel. Recruiter is just a human soldier. Maz Cat Soldier. So they only have one other knight Oh, actually, this guy may be a knight as well. Why is a braid still in the pack? I guess the signals in this draft have been odd. Goblin Guide. All right, so someone jumped into Red Deck Wins and then jumped off of it real fast. Maybe it was contested by a couple other players. I took one pick. They could have gone in that deck and then jumped off of it, but all right. Well, Limvala is a card. Is a magical card, and her utility is generally going to be best against like the green decks that have mana dorks, but she's kind of slow to stop all that, and normally their work is the most work that's done by mana dorks is going to be done turn 2 through 3, and then after that, I mean, they're still around, they can still do things, but it generally tend to become more of a sigil after they're kind of like their window. Turn 2 to 3 is their window, as I see it, you know. But Porcelain Legionnaire, I think, is a pretty easy pick up there. The Linvala will, regardless, I think, and make a fine sideboard option, and the Porcelain Legionnaire is a 2-drop for starters. And it's also a pretty good one. I mean, it attacks for 3. It's got first strike, so it can beat through bigger creatures, generally speaking. All right, and here, well, there is the Leonin Relic Warder. I would really like the Rashadenport, the Arid Mesa. I'd play the Sword, probably, but it's another 3-drop / 5-drop. But my first way to deal with artifacts is going to be really important in this deck, because you don't want it to be just solely a beatdown deck. That's one of the problems I kind of have with how WotC is shifted how white works in this cube. Alright, well, I think there's a very low chance of the Hero of Bladehold coming back, but I really do want another 2-drop in the form of the Phyrexian Revoker, because it's a great hate card. I already have pretty good beatdown. The Hero is like one of the better beatdown cards for the deck, but it doesn't do a ton in certain situations. Alright, so Face Fetters is fine. The Angel of Sanctions is... I think I'm going to take Fetters and sideboard it for now. What we are kind of lacking is like efficient removal, and I don't know if Parallax Wave needs to be a starter in this deck. I mean, I'm at 22 playable, so I'm going to cut more, but Fiend Hunter, not a huge fan of this style of card. I actually don't know how good History is in this deck either. Alright, here, well, Elsbeth is the top end that we want for this style of deck, so please get in there, you. Hello, lady. Alright, well, we have a Batterskull, and we have the other top end that we want to have, so yeah, Gideon. I'd love to have Caracas. I think it's a very strong card. But Gideon, get in there. Okay, a Disenchant. Well, Mirran Crusader is actually the style of card I really do like in this type of deck. So I'm going to put him in. A little heavy on 3s. We're at 23 playables. You ideally want to be at 24 for this style of deck because you do not want to run more than 16 lands, I don't think. Alright, the Banisher. Dismember. Actually, Dismember kind of fulfills an interesting role. I have 15 creatures now. I'm going to pick up the Dismember because it's a 1-drop removal spell, essentially. I only have 2 3-mana removal spells right now, and I have the option for a creature-based removal spell that I'm not a huge fan of. I think it tends to lead to too many blowouts in the combat step, which this deck needs to be all about the combat step, and that's why you see we've taken some questionable attack-based cards over, probably some better cards like Ancestral Recall and Mana Drain. It's because we're building an archetype. And that's kind of what I think you have to do in Cube, is build to an archetype that's open. Now, typically speaking, White Weenie will almost always be open because most people talk trash on it. I don't think it's very good. And, while it is a weaker archetype, to have a 90% build of an archetype is probably better than to have, like, a 70 to 60% build of a better archetype. Because I will agree, like, not all archetypes are built equally in Cube, but if you can build one to a 90th percentile or an 85th percentile, which is a pretty good White Weenie deck, the only thing it's really lacking to make it probably go to the 90th percentile is like the 1-mana removal spells. We do have Dismember, but we did miss out on the Swords to Plowshares and the Path to Exile. And yes, we could have had Declaration Stone, which is more efficient than the removal I currently have. But, alright, Rishport, easy. But we did not, at the time, we had to incentivize 2 drops so we could play the deck. Alright, well, I will play her. And she came around kind of as expected. Alright, Ameria, you gotta get out of here. We're at 25 with a land in here, so I think we're fine. I think this deck is going to be playable as is. A little bit 3 heavy. I'd rather have like one more 2-drop and one less 3-drop. But I'm loath to cut any more of the 3s because, I do think that Recruiter the Guard, even though it's not a great attacker, is pretty good for this deck because it can get stuff like Leon and Relic Warder, Phyrexian Revoker, Mother of Runes. It can get some like pretty interesting cards that just hose certain decks. I'll pick up the Angel. I mean, there may be a world in which I need to go more mid-range. It's like, I don't know, like a red deck wins or something like that. But I mean, I already have the Timely Reinforcements to kind of support that. I'd probably bring in Limvala against them just because she's big. Parallax Wave just because it stops, it locks up the mid game. Like Parallax Wave is a mirror breaker for most aggro matchups. It's funny because this card, all right. Oh, I guess I just get her. All right, you. Parallax Wave looks more like a control card. If I had black mana, I would play this dude. All right. Parallax Wave looks more like a controlling card. In actuality, no thanks. Yes. In actuality, it's just it's an aggro card. I think it's more of an aggro card or a mid-range card. All right, you get down here. You get down here. All right, that's what our curve actually should look like. It's a little hinky, but not horrible. A land short. Okay. Put other planes. Yep. I think this is a 16 land deck. I only have 4 drops. Let's try this out. And yes, I am fully ready for the comments on passing a pick 2 or pick 1 pack 2 Ancestral Recall and Mana Drain, because those are 2 of the better cards in the cube. I mean, the Ancestral is, I don't know. I tend to think probably, if not the best, like close to it. Alright, I'd love to play first. Okay, this hand is keepable. A little land heavy, but I'm not going to pitch it back. I think it's better to have a 7 than a 6 with this deck. I don't mind per se being land heavy because I have a turn 1, turn 2 play. However, and also because I'm an Armageddon deck, so being a little bit land rich is not bad, because if I continue to draw lands and I draw into the Geddon, I can blow up the lands and still have plays to make. Okay. Well, that's not exactly what we want to see. Play my land out main 1 like a boss for no reason, to be honest. I should have played it main 2 because I'm not going to pump this thing this turn. I'm just going to get 1 in. And then I'm going to play this lowly 1/1 for 2 mana and say go. And next turn what we can do is dismember for 1, take a bunch of damage. They're Rofellos or whatever they play. Alright, they don't play anything. Well, that's good for us. Well, I do think I am going to not put 3 counters on this thing, because 1, it doesn't do anything this turn, even though it would allow me to, for lack of better terms, ultimate it next turn. Because I'd like to leave Dismember on their turn, kill whatever they play, like whatever creature they play, and then drop an Elspeth Nighterrant to get a bunch of damage in. It's probably pretty apparent that I have like Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile up, because I wouldn't generally just leave my... If my opponent looks at this and says, well, if this guy has a land drop next turn, he could... Alright, this is perfect for us. Alright, just gonna eat this thing. Come on, Moto. And this is kind of how you write it up for how this deck should function. We'll see, we haven't won it yet. We've drawn 2 lands of our 3 draw steps, but our other draw step was quite good. It was a 4-drop when we were land rich. Sure. Alright, and I suppose I shouldn't F6, because if they have a Wrath, I can protect my Adanto Vanguard, but they are quite dead next turn. They could have Bounce. That is a thing. I don't really want to show them Ravages. I mean, it's quite likely that I have it. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to pump this dude up, and then I'm going to put the Elspeth bonus on the other card. Because if they have Bounce or a Flash creature or something like that, I can't think of a Flash creature in the cube that would do this. Then they're going to have to deal with both these. Alright, yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm just going to onboard kill you. I'm not going to show you more. I guess I showed them another land. Alright, Parallax Wave tends to be pretty decent against these style of decks. Would I rather have it over something else? I don't think I've seen enough to know if Parallax Wave is necessary. Well, this hand could have the alternate problem of having too little mana. But it's on the draw. We have a turn 2 play. We have an Umezawa's Jitte, which tends to be good versus green decks. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Okay, Mana Dork. Yep. Okay. Not exactly what we wanted to see. Alright, guys, sorry. I'm going to turn this off because you guys are going nuts. Alright, we are going to dismember this to buy some time. And they're on the play, so they're down cards, and it's just, I think it's better just to get rid of it there. Do they have the Trop? Okay. Okay, a Birds of Paradise. Did he suspend something? Oh, he green sunned. Now we're really hoping to hit a land drop. If we don't, I guess we're just going to drop the Jit. Do you have like a Venser? Well, I'm not going to play anything main 1. It's very possible they also have a Cryptic Command. That is a card that could be played. So I think here what I'm most comfortable doing is trying to play this out. This will probably get countered. Yep. Cryptic Command. Could be counter bounce. I would assume counter draw, though. Alright, they're going to counter bounce. Okay. And go. This way, I mean, it's a little tempo, but they're down on cards after that. Like, the Cryptic did not accrue them card advantage. Accrue them some time advantage, but I still have an attacker here, which is not bad. Let's see if they have more counters. No? Okay. Yeah, Mirror Crusader is obviously kind of tough to kill for a green base deck. Nothing. Okay. Well, I think the upside to playing this guy out, main 1, is pretty high. I'm going to go for it. That's 9 damage. Alright, they have like a Venser to bounce my Mirror Crusader and then block my Sky Marcher Aspirant. That would be like the worst for us, but what can you do? Alright, well, if nothing happens and I put them to 5, then I feel very good about that. And go. Okay. So they are dead. So Gideon of the Trials comes in, prevents all damage from the Worm Coil, and we slam and kill. I guess we're doing rubbins right now. I'm casting out my... they probably just conceded. They concede? No. Alright, well, they could have, because they're dead. Yep. Alright. Hey, that's what you do. That's how this deck functions. Just beat through a worm coil engine. Yeah, like I said, I think it's probably still a 2-1 deck. However... well, this hand's unkeepable. I mean, if it had a land, maybe, but probably not. Two 3-drops, or 3 3-drops and a 4-drop, no. This is a mull. And this hand's fine. It's got turn 1 interaction if we're playing against creatures, which we may or may not be. Be Adanto Vanguard and then a couple good 3s. Yeah, I'll keep this on the draw. And our opponent mulligan 2, which is always, it's going to be better. Like, these kind of decks are far more favored when folks are mulliganing. Do I want to put this on top or bottom? I have 2 land drops already. I have 2 land drops from a 16 land deck, 34 cards, and a mull to 6. I'm going to top this. I'm going to leave it on top. Now, if I draw 3 lands in a row, I'm going to be very sad with that decision. But I also want to run consistently here. And I don't know what my opponent's up to. All right, well, hopefully MTGO gets to knowing what it's up to and works. There we go. It's a little laggy right now. And go. Okay, a black deck. Nothing. Alright, well, not an ideal draw there. I suppose we should have bottomed it. My gut kind of told me bottom it, but I really did not want to get Mana Light and not hit my 3s, because my low end here is not the best. I guess I can no longer F6 because I have an activated ability if they decide to play games and try to destroy this thing. Because I will lose 4 life to safeguard this thing unless it gets exiled here. Alright, so they're Esper. Alright, cool. Yep, should have bottomed. I know. That was my fault. The 16 lands, I mean, This is probably going to get countered. No? Okay. Sure. I'm going to put them up to 4. I mean, I doubt they have burn. Like, Psionic Blast is not... I mean, Psionic Blast would still get him, but... prevent the damage from the swamp. I don't think there's a Genju, but... Alright, Liliana of the Veil. I mean, I'm going to lose my Adanto Vanguard. Oh, each player discards a card. Well, maybe I'm glad I kept the planes now. Okay. Alright, they're reanimating. How big is this thing? Big. So this may seem... Do I play around Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshares? I think I do here, because it's so catastrophic if I don't. It's like very catastrophic if I don't. So I'm going to be not... This looks kind of like silly, but if they Path or Plow one of my things, like then they go to their turn, minus, get rid of my Adanto Vanguard, probably reanimate the Sphinx, which I have decent answers for, but... Yep. Okay. I think I want to save Council's Judgment. It just deals with a lot more. I'm going to use the JIT plus the this thing to deal with this. Sure, we'll plus it up a little bit. And I'll play out my 1-drop and say go. Hopefully they don't have an Iona in their sideboard, because that would be a tougher card to beat. I don't even know if I can beat that. It'd be like Jit or Bust, on board plus Jit or Bust. Alright, well, MTGO lag. I guess it is good we chose this deck in a way, because the MTGO lag is horrendous today. Alright. Yep, you're going to get a card on my deck. Can't imagine there are many castables. They have Mother of Runes is a castable they could find. And I'll probably just use the Council's Judgment so I can push forth with lethal damage. Because I know I don't have Path or Plow, so unless they have that in their hand... I don't even have 1 mana removal, so if they're not casting a creature, it's a card that I think is going to be irrelevant. Because I only have 1-drop creatures that are castable in this position. Alright. The sad truth is... Yeah, no. We're fine, I think. So what we do here is just Council's Judgment. I don't really want to show them this, but I also don't want to give my opponent another turn. So, alright, yep. Parallax Wave is also possibly interesting. Yeah, I think we just hit submit. I mean, I think the deck's pretty decent right now. I want to see more. If they have like an Iona, I'll consider bringing in some other options, like some Fiend Hunters and whatnot. Like I said, though, like Fiend Hunter and what's the other one? I think I got both of them. Maybe I didn't get the other one, the 2/2 one. I guess Angel of Sanction is kind of similar. But these cards are kind of risky because, like, we're really relying on the combat step, and if my opponent has any sort of removal and they just remove my dude in the or like during the combat step while I'm attacking, like I can lose out very much so in that exchange, and I don't like kind of being at the mercy of hidden information that I really don't know. All right, I think this hand is a keep. Yeah. This is a pretty, I think, easy keep. We have the Phyrexian Revoker to halt the Liliana, ideally. 1-drop is the best pickup here. Land is probably one of the worst. But if we're lucky, they'll play like on a Looter, and I'll just kill their Looter with Dismember and then play a Revoker. Alright, Urborg, nothing. They could be debating on remanding this, or could be like a Miscalc. I don't know if that Miscalc is any longer in the cube. Mana Leak definitely is. I don't think Miscalc may have been taken out. All right, here we go. Alright, well, they're going to discard some fatbacks here, which I think is fine. We'll just get the Gideon of the Trials down, probably plus it. I guess we could make an Emblem too. Alright, Sphinx again. Well, Gideon stops a Sphinx pretty well. Sure. Okay. Another thing we could do is just plus the Gideon on the Sphinx attack, see if they block, and then dismember it. Alright, Gonti. Get a Jit down. Prevent damage from this fellow. I suppose I should not auto-yield because there's a... Come on, Moto. There is a chance that they will block, and if they do, I'll probably just use one of the counters off this thing. Nope, they don't block. Okay. Well, I wonder what they found. If they had like Black Lotus plus land, they could reanimate Armageddon, but then I could just dismember and then infinitely use Gideon to kind of stop their Sphinx. Alright, Exhume. Sphinx is in the house. Alright, well, they are tutoring, top tutoring, which I think is okay. It depends on what they're finding, too. We'll see. And we've hit F6 and are waiting for Moto to catch up. I guess one positive thing about Urborg is I don't have to take as much damage off of Dismember, but this turn I think we're willing to take it. And as soon as Moto will let me pay for my spell... Alright, come on, Moto. Could have taken Council's Judgment from me as well. Okay, this is not going to do what you think it's going to do. Alright, cool. Well, that's an even more elegant answer to our problem right now of getting this thing out of the way. Yep. Alright guys, I'm going to go on a quick break and use the restroom, get some breakfast, and hopefully Moto's working a little better. But we're 2-0 with our deck that we passed. Ancestral Recall and Mana Drain and Dak Vaden. So, hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back and in Game 3. What do we think of this hand? Well, we're on the play with a 1-lander with 1 1-drop, 2 2-drops, one of them suboptimal, and 2 4-drops. This is a mulligan. Alright, this hand is not a ton better, but I'm going to keep this one. I do have turn 1 interaction. I am going to put that on top. Unfortunately, with 2 4-drops, I think I have to keep most lands. And if we're lucky, we'll draw like a 3-drop after that, but I already have a decent enough 3-drop, so basically we're banking on our Mana Tithe. I don't really think this hand has a high probability of winning the game we're in here. We could get lucky and they could have kept like a Black Lotus hand or something like that. Nope. And pass it back. So then we're playing against a blue deck. Or a Jeskai deck. And I will tie that because I'm going to be busy on my next turn. Well, that disappoints me a bit. So we're going to go ahead and do this right now. I don't know what we're going to find yet. We're going to see. Mother of Runes is interesting. I do like Phyrexian Revoker to no small extent. Could go just a Mirran Crusader. I think what I like doing is taking like a 1-drop and then casting 2 spells next turn, ideally hoping they cast like an artifact of some sort. And if I were to do that, which one would I take? Probably Mom. Mom doesn't attack very well, though. Maybe it's Kythian. You know, let's try Kythian. In most games I say Mom, but I mean, I feel like anything I'm going to cast is going to get removed here by the red mana they have over there. Alright, they have the Geist. Cool. Well, we'll play out the hero of the Blade Hold. Yep. And if they have an enchantment to like a control magic to get my hero of Blade Hold, well then we will blow it up. Alright, we'll probably blow that up too. Or another option is we just do this. Alright, they just take it. Well, they can turn their stuff sideways, but then they assume significant risk on the backswing because I have a lot of dudes out. Okay. Mihiri. Alright, well that sucks. It's going to blow up my hero. Okay. I assume all at the Elsbeth. If it's not, then I will take advantage of that. So, yep, okay. We'll attack Nahiri here. Okay. Okie doke. Okay, Banishing Light, I assume on the Umazao is Jit. Okay. Cool. Let's just keep on eliminating creatures off the board. Okay, Teferi's annoying. That's going to do what? Draw a card here? Okay. They can trade with the Geist Saint Traft on the on the Leonin Relic Warder here, or they can just block the 1/1 and give me some counters. Okay. All right, Adanto. All right, Mana Drain or something. Not Mana Drain, Mana Leak. Remand, okay. And so we didn't cast the 3-drop. Now we're probably going to get overwhelmed. Their deck looks kind of bizarre, though, to me. I think we can beat this deck. If they not hit the blockers, I think we just won this because they have a lot of Planeswalkers and nonsense. So control tends to be okay. Just depends on how many Wraths they have. Sometimes folks tend to skimp on Wraths because, well, they do. All right. Getting the Jit. I mean, I could gain the life. I don't think it's that relevant. I'm F6 at this point. All right, opponent. Let's go. All right, land. So they are like a Brea mana base. Interesting. I'll tap one of my lands. Okay. You know what? Let's just attack first. Okay. Supposed to play around a Mana Leak. Alright, Bramaz. Alright, Cryptic Command or something. Torrential Gearhulk getting a remand, okay. Well, that's problematic. Maybe we just go ahead and pack it in here. Yeah, I think we go to game 2 at this point. Are we going to turn this? No, probably not. We're going to get one of our things exiled. They have a Teferi to top something. I'm probably going to get his opponent's deck looks pretty sweet. But I think we can get them. So we want less of the creature kill. Do we want history? Faith's Fetters seems okay. Pardon. Moat, no. Emiria may be fine. Is it flies? Nah, the walkers are just better. I think we just rejam. We just know what we're playing against now. Play a little more intelligently. I don't know if we even play that unintelligently. They had a good early blocker in the form of Geist of St. Traff, which I don't think... And the mirror is great for them, like if they're playing control mirror, but against us, I don't think tends to be where you want to be. Alright, we'll quick pause until opponent's done boarding, and then we'll be right back. Alright, guys, back. Let's get a good keepable hand this time. Well, not quite that. So, mulligan. Alright, hand's perfect. Keep. Need to hit lands. Bottom that. Alright, Sky Marcher, go. Well, if it's Path to Exile, I'll be happy with that. Bolt. Okay, go. Remand is available now. So I think what we do is this, just play this dude out. If they want to remand him, cool. Okay, Gideon. Okay, Nahiri. Souls, okay. Okay, they get their Gideon back. Oh, we're going to hit a remand here. I'm going to try for this. Nope. So what's different now? Torrential Gearhulk is available now, which is relevant. Let's try it. I think Torrential Gearhulk's in our future, though. I'm going to force him to cast it now. If they don't have it, then the game probably ends. And if they have like a counter spell, they probably counter this for long term. Okay, Torrential Gearhulk. Yep. Yeah, So they'll burst lightning what? I mean, none of my stuff dies, alright? This thing. Okay, my Ravages of War has lifelink, that's very important. No damage from you. They can trade for the Soulfire Grandmaster. We're attacking Gideon here, obviously. Gideon. Yup. Alright, they have a land. Can they field another creature? If we hit a land, we're in pretty good shape because we get to play the Kithian out as well, and that'll flip into another Gideon. Maybe a higher risk play. I mean, we kind of knew they had the Torrential Gearhulk. When they did nothing on that turn, it was pretty obvious. So that was the best line we could take. Okay, you got him. Cool. Should have pumped there. That was my mistake. And probably game. We'll see, though. I mean, they could have removal. Yep. And they're down to 1. Well, have it now or be dead. Alright. Well, game 3 in the finals. I saw a little more. Monastery Mentor is interesting. It's an annoying card for sure. They have Lingering Souls in their deck. I really wish this deck would like do the actual mana cost of these cards. Alright, well, I think we're gonna stick with. This hand is probably the best we've seen so far this game. It does not have a lot of interaction, but it has a good early curve. Obviously a better hand on the play than it is the draw, but yeah, this is a keeper. Okay. If you have Burst Lightning, go ahead and Burst Lightning this thing out of the way. It's fine by me. If they don't, I'm going to think they have Remand. Okay, Incinerate. Oh, we're missing land drops. That was a good pickup. Alright, well, this thing's going to get burned off too, more than likely. It's fine. Nothing, okay. Well, I'll be the sucker. On my next main, I'm going to dump the hero and probably get countered by something, but what can you do? This is one of the reasons why White Weenie is so good. Opponent keeps greedy or an ambitious hand, and you can just win. Now, that's not to say he's not going to draw something good here. Yeah, good games, man. Alright, we're going to talk crap. I love the salt. It was about information at that point. Alright, guys, well, despite the nastiness of our last opponent, because they were upset they kept a greedy hand and got mana screwed, against a deck that is known to punish mana screwed opponents, which is on them. I mean, you can mulligan. Mulliganing is an option. We did pretty well with this deck. So this is the second time we've won with White Weenie. We've won 3 times the red deck wins. People complain about these decks. They get, pissy and moany because they have a really cool Jeskai deck, which I do think my opponent's deck was really cool. But the problem is, I mean, if you don't keep well, or if you don't have the interaction for a deck like the one I'm running, which is kind of known as a cheap deck, it's also known as like one of the worst decks in the cube, which I don't think is true. Here's my thing with White Weenie and like Death and Taxes / White Weenie and red deck wins. If you go ahead and look at it, and yeah, he's right. I didn't play right with the Jit. I didn't even take the counters off when he exiled it because I was F6 as I was trying to sneak in my breakfast while we were getting information out of them because we were losing that game assuredly. Regardless. The thing with White Weenie is, if you can get a 90th percentile White Weenie deck, it's probably, just as good as, a 70th percentile blue-red deck. Now, if the blue-red deck's at the 90th percentile, if that's open, and you can have that or White Weenie at 90th percentile, you take the blue-red deck every time. Blue is just the strongest color in the cube. I'm not trying to deny that. But if you can get a deck to the best of its potential, or close to the best of its potential, which we were decently close there, we were lacking is a couple, one more white, 1-mana removal spell, I think, to really kind of get it there. Our 4-drops are great. I can't complain about those. I don't think we wanted a second Geddon. I don't think this deck ever wants a second Geddon. We had one piece of equipment, which is the best equipment for this deck, Jit, because we're a 15-creature deck, and we have planeswalkers that make creatures, etc., etc. I think you can really generally get there with it. I have drafted this deck 3 times. One time I went 2-1 with it, and the other 2 times I went 3-0 with it. My 2-1 experience was rough. It was basically the first pack I was trying to do something sweet, realized it was just totally unviable, jumped into White Weenie, so I missed basically the first pack, and then managed to cobble together a deck with a few inefficient cards, like Baneslayer Angel was in the deck, and I think Angel of Sanctions was in the deck, and then the rest of it was kind of normal White Weenie, but didn't really have the removal support it needed. So it kind of failed. But if you manage to notice the signals for this deck early, which generally, honestly, you can almost force this deck and you'll probably be fine because no one else wants to play it, because white and green tend to be the sick colors of the cube, then yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do not think that White Weenie is so horrible that it's unplayable. I think you need to realize what's open. You need to play it. And despite what some opponents, like our last round opponent there, may say about your play with the deck or with just drafting it in general and getting lucky, Yeah, I mean that's why you play the deck. I mean it's a very simple deck. It has a bazillion 1-drops. It can win through its own mana screw. It tends to heavily punish mana screw. It's not a hard deck to play. I'm not saying it is, and it can just get there. So if you see it open, don't just turn your head the other way. I would recommend giving it a try if it is the most open deck at your table with where you're sitting when you're drafting this. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and take care now.